podcast tonight. And of course, they're going to be actually speaking from experience. We got a mother-daughter team that's going to be coming on the podcast, and I've got some questions, and I'm sure they're going to be able to give you some really some real life experiences about junior golf, about what it takes, and parenting and the whole nine. So just again, want to thank everybody for tuning into our live podcast. We are going to have a section at the end of the podcast where everybody can ask questions to our special guests. And so we are all set and ready to go. So I want to bring up my guest for this evening. She is none other than the mother of McKenzie Mack, the great junior extraordinary golfer. And so I want to bring up none other than Miss Jean Jackson. How you doing, Miss Jackson?
Fine, thank you. Almost lost me for a minute.
Hey, listen, thank you for joining us on the podcast tonight. How you doing?
Great, thank you.
Good, good, good. Well, listen, before we get right into the podcast, and we'll bring McKenzie on in just a minute or two. Before we get started, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, again, my name is Jean Jackson. I'm a Jersey girl, but I've been living in Las Vegas for the past 40 years. Okay. I've been a teacher, U.S. Air Force, school psychologist, dean of students, principal for 17 years. I've been retired for 12 years, divorced for 42 years, just kidding. But I am divorced, 2 lovely children, and I'm 43 years old.
I know, right?
I said what I said.
I know, right? and you meant it, right? Well, listen, that's awesome, awesome. And so I guess the first question I want to ask you before we get right into it is, how did you get McKenzie in the game of golf?
Well, I think I want to say I just loved golf my whole life, and it's what I always didn't know what golf was. I'm from New Jersey, didn't know that golf was a real sport. However, once I realized that I was going to be a single mom, I had to figure out, how can I get these kids to college? I'm gonna have to figure something out. So I put them in every sport to find out what they like and what liked them. Okay. That's very important. We tried ballet, we tried gymnastics, we did piano, we did violin, we did soccer, we did basketball, we did everything. And I think what happened was, I realized you start weeding things out. When the soccer coach says, does your daughter have any speed except slow? So we crossed soccer off. We knew that probably wasn't going to be our thing. And we were sitting on the couch watching gymnastics, and the announcer said, that gymnast is one of the biggest in the sport. She's 5'2", 80 pounds. And I'm looking at my 7-year-old next to me who's already 80 pounds. So we crossed gymnastics off. And the next thing was every activity we went in turned into a mommy and me. I'm working 10 hours a day. Yeah. Mommy and me, I was just too tired. So I would complain at every event we went to. Finally, there was a mother sitting next to me and said, listen, my husband is the pro at the local golf course. Why don't they play golf? And then she said the magic words, you don't have to participate. They were in golf the next day, 6 and 7 years old, in golf the next day. And that was it. It's just a matter of convenience and a matter of mom just being too tired to be in a mommy and me class.
Right. Now let me ask you this. When did you know that McKenzie was going to be something special at the game of golf?
Okay, so when I enrolled them in the class, for 1 whole year, I promise you, I never saw them hit a ball. Wow. While they were in the back practicing and playing, I had my feet up in the car, taking a nap. And just one day the teacher knocked on the window and said, they really should be playing on days other than the days that they come to me. Wow. You should be taking them to the course. I'm like, oh my God, mommy and me all over again. But I did, took them to the course. And that was the first time I'd ever seen both of my kids hit. Right. And they were amazing. Wow. I'm thinking, really? You guys are really learning something back there? They were amazing. And that's when I knew that they had something special, and golf was our sport.
That's good. That's good. So talk to us a little bit about your experience as a golf mom. What was that like? Well, I mean, were you the mom that, you went to every tournament, or, what was your experience like as a golf mom?
I went to every tournament. I went to every practice. I went to everything. But let me say this before I tell you, going to the practice, we took lessons together for a year,
Oh,
because
really?
I really did not know anything about golf. When they said pick up the putter, I didn't know what a putter was. So really, while I was taking them, I didn't know what I was looking at.
Right.
So we took golf lessons for a year. So at least, and this is my first tip to the parents, learn the game.
Wow.
You don't have to be Tiger Woods. You don't have to play, but you need to be, you need to know the language. You need to know the vocabulary. You need to know when they're practicing, if their feet are right, are they swinging right? And if you don't know the game, they look at you crazy. You know how kids like, she don't know.
Now, Miss Jackson, I got to tell you this. Sometimes even when you know the game, they don't like to listen too.
And then there's my other tip to the parents.
Yes.
There are basically three types of parents, and in leadership it's the same thing. It's autocratic, democratic, or laissez-faire. Autocratic, I'm the mother.
Right.
I don't really care what you think. Democratic, well, let's talk about it. Laissez-faire, I don't care, just I'm gonna sit on the tree. Well, I'm an autocratic mom. So it's like, I said your feet are wrong. You need to fix your feet. Wow. We're not going to discuss it. When I turn my back, you may turn the feet again. But while I'm looking, right, I need for your feet to be this way. And I think parents need to understand, they need to be strong.
Right, right.
How are you going to let a 10-year-old tell you what he thinks is right? Really? Right. Is that what we're doing?
Right. That is so right. Because I mean, so many times I'll tell my son, I think you got your feet slanted a little too much. And he'll just keep his feet slanted. And then when we go see his coach will tell him, hey, your feet are a little too slanted. And that's when he attempts to fix it. But like you said, it's good to have that style as well, based on what you just talked about.
But I think it's also important, and my other tip to parents, stay in your lane.
Right.
Are you going to be dad, or are you going to be the coach?
Gotcha.
And one of the reasons why they really did listen to me, because I wasn't the coach, and I didn't want to be the coach. I wanted to be mom.
Right.
I want them to say, this is not right, or I'm not feeling right about this. You really don't do that to the coach. The coach says, go left, you go left. Right. So I don't want to be the coach. So I think parents need to decide, do you want to be the parent, or do you want to be the coach?
I think most on here want to be the parent. Most of the
they say that until they see their kid 3-putt. Oh my God. Why did you do that? Didn't you see that hill? Why didn't you? Yeah. That's what they always say.
Ms. Jackson, you remember those 3 putts too?
Oh, please. Brutal. And trying to, good job, kids. That's okay. It'll be okay. And in my head, I'm like, oh my God, what is wrong with her? Why am I paying for these lessons?
Oh gosh. Listen, I had that moment on Sunday, but we don't have time to go into it right now. But talk to the parents about helping the journey to be a little smoother, a little easier, because as parents, like what you just talked about, we're investing a lot. We're investing a lot, and sometimes when they're out on the course, they may not be having their best performance, and we're like thinking, oh, am I making a mistake? Am I doing the right thing? Talk to us a little bit about how to mentally.
One thing I say about golf, every day is a new day for everybody. So just because they're having a bad day on Wednesday, Thursday may not be a bad day. Right. So they do have bad days. And believe me, I've seen plenty of bad days. Bless her heart, McKenzie. But she even caught me behind a tree one day. She was playing so bad, I knew she wasn't going to make the cut. Hello, Southwest, can you change our flight till tonight? But but you still, I think the important thing is that not be so serious.
Mhm.
You need to laugh about some things too. When she fell in the sand trap, I was dying. It was just way too funny.
Yeah.
But
Well, she's gonna have to tell us about that one now. When she comes up, when I bring her on, she's got to tell us about that one.
but you take it serious and you let them know. Don't be too serious, but don't take it lightly.
Right.
Like you said, this is a major, major investment. And I want you to have me on again to talk about the investment, the money part of it.
Ooh, that's
Oh,
a
I don't even want.
exactly that's a whole nother topic.
Let me just give you a hint.
Okay.
Kinsey went to Q school.
Uh-huh.
Q school is nothing but a tournament, a
Yeah.
4-day tournament.
Right.
Entry fee, $2,500. Exactly.
Ooh.
So do you think we're going to take it lightly?
Yeah. Not at that point.
Not at any point. Especially in investment, you want them to do their best. You want them to be their best. You want them to be competitive. I'm not asking them to be Tiger Woods, but I'm asking you to do your best. I want you to practice. I want you to listen to your coach. So all of that went in, and I think you need to establish an expectation. And that's important. Like I said, my kids played every sport. And here's what I told them. You can play any sport you want, and you can drop out of any sport you want except golf.
That's good. I like that.
I don't care if you play basketball, but you cannot drop out of golf. And that's the bottom line.
That's good.
It is a non-negotiable.
And what was your reasoning for telling them that?
Because I knew that they could get a scholarship. I knew that they didn't have to be perfect to get it. Gotcha. If they were good enough, they knew the rules, they could get around the course, they, won a few tournaments here and there, they would get a scholarship. The year that McKenzie got her scholarship, 200 girl scholarships, after they had allotted all the scholarships, 200 girl scholarships went unclaimed.
Wow. So there's a lot of scholarship money out there for the game of golf.
For the game of golf. And I'm gonna say, for guys, but girls, absolutely.
Gotcha.
The guys are gonna have to play a little bit. They're gonna have to really, be competitive with their game.
Good. So talk about your most memorable experiences, in junior golf with McKenzie.
Oh, memorable. There were many, but I guess we went to she played at Pebble Beach twice. Nice. with a pro, and here it is. She birdied hole number 18 on national TV.
Wow.
That was memorable. We loved it. Nobody saw that she triple bogeyed every other hole, but on national TV, she birdied that hole. So that was a memorable moment. That was awesome.
Nice. And so who's some of your favorite LPGA players or PGA players?
Okay, PGA, I'm Tiger Woods all the way. I don't care what. He's impacted the game to the point where, I cannot be pro Tiger Woods. And in terms of LPGA, I would say Mariah Stackhouse.
Yes, nice.
I'm going with Mariah. I'd love to see her play.
Yes.
I think she'll be around for a long time.
Good.
So that's what I'm going with right now. And before them, I loved watching my kids play golf. And when they played against each other, the whole town of Las Vegas, wanted to gather around because they were hilarious. I called them Cenas and Verena.
Right.
And I used to tell them, you guys, Venus and Verena, they love each other. Even when they play together, they want each other to win. They're so kind. Can you guys please do that? And they were interviewed by the newspaper. The next day, the headline in the paper read, "I'll always pray for her to be second." I'm saying, is that you being Venus and Serena?
You see, they have the new movie coming out. Is it Richard?
Yes.
Yes.
That's gonna be interesting and really good. And look at that. He took on a dual role of, coach and dad, and this is me editorializing. I think it hurt the relationship.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I'm just gonna sit that right there.
There you go. All right. So before I bring McKenzie in here, any last words of advice for our parents tonight to make the journey smoother?
I guess the just to make it smooth, I got three things. Know who you are as a parent, and don't, when they start winning or losing, don't change. Don't change. If you're that funny parent, then be funny. But if you're that stoic parent that just never says anything, then be that parent. Don't change while they're out there playing, because they look to you for that consistency. My kids know I'm laughing if they make a ridiculous shot. They already know that I'm laughing. I'm not that guy.
Right.
But if you are, this don't change. Don't all of a sudden, want to be the coach or want to be something else. They need for you to be a parent. They need for you to be a parent that they can talk to. Hey, because they know when they miss a shot. My kids, they can't remember where to put the dishes in the kitchen, but they know every hole on the golf course that they played. Yeah. I'm thinking, okay, so that's just be consistent with your emotions.
Right. That's some really good advice, and we appreciate you coming on the podcast tonight. I'm going to bring McKenzie in here, and hey, McKenzie, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, thanks for being on, and thanks for recommending Mom to come on the podcast too.
Yeah, always. She's a hoot.
Well, listen, so this is we got your mom on tonight. What's some of your more fond memories of Mom taking you to tournaments? What do you remember most about that time when you were coming up in the game of junior golf?
Just she's a character. Like she said, she is that parent that is going to laugh, right? Like right. I remember being at we were in Florida at Doral.
Okay.
And they have the water hole. It's a approach into this island green. I hit my drive in the trees. Okay. And I'm going for it. Like, I've always been that player, right? Like, I'm not laying up.
Right.
I hear her down by the green talking to others. She's loud, right?
Uh-huh.
Oh my God, she's gonna hit it. Why is she gonna hit it? Like, what's going on? Like, she's like going like going off. And I luckily I hit it on the green. It did hit a board and bounce on the green, but I made it on the green. But that's how she was. She was like that all the time. And like, my sister didn't like my mom following her because of that. Because my mom was just very vocal, like on the course.
Yeah.
And it kept me light. It kept me like out of my head. Right. Like, she would walk by, she like, do you have any snacks? I'm kind of hungry. Like, what do you mean? Like, you're supposed to be giving me snacks.
Right.
So right. Like, she just kept it really light for me, who's a very intense, can be in my head type person. So
nice. Because mom was probably saying, now she knows she's supposed to just lay up, not go for it, right?
But I figured she knew what she was doing, but I'm just kind of you're nervous. You're a little apprehensive out there. You know that she knows what she's doing. Right. She's a good golfer. She knows how. She has great course management. I know it, but for me, heart just couldn't take it.
Yeah, right.
And one thing she always did too, like when we practiced as a family, she always commentated. She was a commentator. So like on the range, she would say on the number 1 tee. Like, so we weren't nervous, going to the first tee, because at the big tournaments, they do announce you. Right. And it's nerve-wracking. So she always did that when we were practicing. And if you missed it, she's like, oh, she killed a spectator, ladies and gentlemen. Like,
yeah, that is okay. That's good. That's keeping it light right there. That's keeping it light. Yeah. So tell us about the sand trap issue. What happened with the sand trap?
There's multiple sand trap issues, because like one time she was talking trash because I hit one short, and when she sees something short, she yells 3 instead of 4. And so she had yelled 3, and as she was doing it, she was, how parents stand on the hill. Uh-huh. She fell off the back of the hill. What? I was dying laughing. I was on the floor. And because I was like, that's what you get for talking mess while I'm trying to play. And then me, when you're frustrated and I had hit in the bunker and she was helping me. She was my caddy and I just tripped and she was laughing. And the other girls were like, "Are you okay?" She's like, "She's fine. She's clumsy." Like, and so yeah, that's just how we were out there.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. So, so McKenzie, we've had you on the podcast before, and I know you and Mom, y'all been doing a lot of podcasts together. How's that experience been like? Mom was doing some things with you and junior golf, and now y'all doing some speaking and blogging and some stuff together. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Well, we're a close family, me, her, and my sister, and we just would get to talking about our experiences and reminiscing. And she's like, "I don't remember it like that way," and I was like, "Well, that's how I remember it." And
Right.
so that's kind of where it came about. Like, we should share our journey because we can't be the only ones that are like, bickering or having good days or bad days, and kind of just share and get other people's perspectives there too. And you have your ups and your downs, and and that's just part of the journey.
Right.
So we just wanted to share that because it can be entertaining and it can be stressful.
Right. And I think I see Sydney on here. That's your sister, right?
Yeah.
It's Sydney. Are you available to come on the podcast? Because she's got a video off. I didn't know she was available.
Oh.
Tell her next time tell her next time she need to be ready, because you always got to be ready just in case.
Yeah.
I can speak. I cannot be seen.
Okay, no problem. So Sydney, let's get your fondest memory of Mom being out on the golf course with you and McKenzie.
Well, kind of like McKenzie said, I never really wanted my mom to come follow me
Yeah.
because she was nerve-wracking. So my fondest memory would have to be like from us practicing and going out and practicing as a family. And it was definitely a real bonding experience just to have something that we could do together as a family and be able to have her there and participate and understand the game and understand some I would say in the golf world, you see a lot of fathers out there. It's not always the moms, and the moms aren't always as knowledgeable. So to have a mom that could participate and interact with us was fun.
That's good. That's good. Now let me ask you this: when's the last time all three of y'all played together?
It's been a while.
Been a while.
Since COVID, it's been a while because it's been hard to get together in the same place at the same time.
Right.
But normally when we're at home for Christmas, we always go play at least a 9 or at the local par 3 course or something.
And they are very competitive. So whenever they're home at the same time, they have a standing. We're going to play. I'm going to beat you. I go as a commentator, and they always want to know, who's your favorite daughter? Am I your favorite? So, you hit it in the trees. You are not my favorite. So this is like for 9 to 18 holes. Am I your favorite? No, I'm sorry.
No.
You're not my favorite. And, and announcing them and just having a good time. But still, they are playing golf and they're practicing and they're serious about their game. But it's still a good time. And it can be a good time. Golf is one of those sports. It can be a family sport. When you play other sports, you have to, miss the basket a couple of times so your kid doesn't feel, bad. But with golf, every man for himself. You can play your own game, and it's a good family sport. We laugh about it for hours after we come home, just hours.
Well, that's good. It sounds like y'all have a lot of fun on the golf course, laughing. Just have a lot of good fun memories, growing up. So what I want to do, McKenzie and Ms. Jackson, I want to open it up for some questions from our audience. We've got some parents on here. We've got some junior players. And what I want to do right now is open up the lines for some Q&A. And so do we have any questions for Ms. Jackson or McKenzie tonight, y'all?
Hey, Ro, I dropped 2 comments in the text box.
Okay. All right. So from the text box, we've got Maurice says, great insight. Thanks for sharing. He also says, great point about moms on the golf course. Love that golf is a family affair. So he really appreciates you all sharing that experience with him. All right, awesome. We got Darren coming in from Philadelphia. What's up, Darren? All right, Darren, you have to unmute. All right, he may be having a little trouble unmuting. All right. Any other questions for?
That's a question.
Oh, go right ahead.
Yeah. So from what I understand, you have 2 kids, right, playing golf. So I have 2 now. I know how expensive it is, right? How do you manage the expense and trying to sometimes, taking 2 to a tournament, double the cost. And you mentioned Doral. Doral's $500 now to play in Doral right now in the junior tournament. How did you manage the cost and really at the same time you want to provide your kids the best opportunities as much as possible?
For one, we had Denny's everywhere we went. I think we've seen every Denny's in America.
But there are places we ate at Denny's. She's right. We ate it. It's really embarrassing when you walk into Denny's and they have your table reserved. But as we traveled, that's what we did. But the other thing is you can't skip on certain things. You can't skip on equipment. If your child, you want them to have the best clubs, you want them to be as prepared as they can be. Now, this is an investment. Yeah. And you have to think of it as an investment. So you have to take money from somewhere to make sure that they have the equipment, that they have the clothes, that they can travel. Because that's one thing you're going to hear me talk about at a later time. You have to travel. High school golf means nothing. Nothing.
Hey, it's funny you say that, Ms. Jackson, because one of the things that I think I talked to McKenzie about this a little bit, but John is at the point where he's got to do pretty much 2-day and 3-day events. And so that's going to involve hotel, meals, registration, tournament registration fees are going to go up. And I think I calculated it, and with equipment and lessons, the whole 9, we're probably looking at about another 17 to 20,000 this year just in golf expenses.
That's exactly right. I said one summer with the 2 of them just playing in tournaments, $15,000 for that summer. You try to get tournaments where they can play in together. You don't ever want a tournament where one is and one isn't. If they can play, so you're traveling together anyway, because we all had to go anyway. As a single parent, we all went together. But it's going to hurt. Gus, it's going to hurt.
It's going to be painful. Okay. Okay.
Can I chime in?
Yes. Go right ahead.
So the professor in me is saying, I think that there maybe needs to be a little bit more clarity surrounding the word investment, right? So when you talk about an investment, what you mean is something that will provide a return. And so you have to figure out what your goal is, I think, in having your kids play golf. And my mother's goal for us was to receive a scholarship. So she was investing the money on the front end for us to attend college for free on the back end, right? And so she saved money in the long run because we both were able to attend college for free on full ride golf scholarships. And so the investment made a return for her when she did not have to take out Parent Plus loans for us to attend top universities. And so I think as a parent, you have to be very clear on what the end game is, because if the end game is playing on tour, there's no guarantee for that. But if the end game is for your child to receive a scholarship, this seems like a lot more worthy of an investment, and at some point you may have to cut your losses and say, maybe Johnny not, what I mean? Maybe this not his ministry, what I mean? And I think that's a decision only a parent can make. I will also say that we participated in every single diversity junior golf program that existed at that time. We were in. And so we were on the Tiger Woods team. We were part of the first tee. We were part of the Southern Nevada Junior Golf Association. So every time they provided opportunities for us to travel for free, we did. Every time, they had events that they sponsored, paid for, hosted, we did those. And so that was another way of cost saving. But as my mom put it, either way, it's an investment. Just being clear on what she means by investment, I think, is important.
Thank you, Sydney. I appreciate that. Great question, Gus. Appreciate you. All right, we got a question coming in from Darren. Go ahead, Darren.
Hey, good evening, ladies. Thank you, Ro. Sorry, we had some technical difficulties there. Question for McKenzie and Sydney. Talk to me a little bit about, I have my son is same age as JT, freshman in high school. Talk to me about when you really start to crystallize your own golf goals, you know, as a teenager. Obviously, you know, girls tend to mature faster than boys, but Ro and I have this conversation a lot lately. Talk to me about when it really started becoming clear to you, okay, these are my goals of what I want to do in this game.
I think it was set for us at the very beginning by Miss Jean Jackson. Like she said, from day one, golf was a non-negotiable. You know, as a parent, she set out, we knew what the non-negotiables were. School was a non-negotiable, right? Good grades was a non-negotiable. Golf was a non-negotiable, but other things weren't. Like she wasn't really strict about us cleaning our room, right? Like other things weren't as a non-negotiable for her. So for us, we knew we were gonna play golf. Like that's just what it was. I personally, once you see yourself winning stuff, that's when you kind of say, I'm kind of good at this. This is something that I may want to do and continue to do. And I liked the traveling part. And so I was like, okay, this is something that I want to stay in. And I like something that I was good at. I was good at it. And so I wanted to stay with it. I think Sydney probably has a different perspective because she liked a lot of other things outside of golf. So she can give her perspective.
Hey, McKenzie, before we get Sydney perspective, when did you know that you were above, you know, when did you know you were pretty good?
Probably around 12 or 13. Is that when I moved up age divisions, right, Mom, in the area? Because I went to the Girls America Cup team and I was the youngest one to ever get on the team. And so that's kind of when things started shifting, right? Because everybody's now looking at me, right? They're like, oh, she qualified and she, you know, she's not even in high school, which was a high school kind of event. Okay.
Right.
And so I think around there is when I kind of was like, okay, you know, this is, you know, I'm moving in the right direction.
I'm pretty good at this thing. All right. Sydney, you want to jump in there?
Sure. So for me, it was different because I had a lot of interests outside of golf. I love to sing. I love to dance. I love to do everything but be on the golf course. And I think that's not atypical of probably most teenagers in the sport. And so, like McKenzie said, my mom set the goals and they were non-negotiable. And she was she called it what? Dictatorship. I don't know what she called it. Dictatorship is what
autocratic. Excuse me. I did not say dictator. I said autocratic.
This is my view, right? So
yes,
it just was non-negotiable. But to use her verbiage, autocratic method, and so it didn't matter what my interests were. My goals always were focused on golf and me getting a scholarship. And the deal was always, you know, once you get your scholarship, you can do whatever you want to do. And so once that goal has been met and accomplished, I don't care what you do. So now I can sing and dance to my heart's content. Now, I mean, not only because I'm an adult and I have the, you know, I can do that, but like once I met the goal, I could sing and dance and do whatever else I wanted to my heart's content because the goal had been met.
Great insight, y'all. Great insight. All right. Any other questions for our special guest tonight?
Hey, Ro, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes. Go right ahead, Sean.
Hey, McKenzie, Miss Jackson, Sydney, thanks for being on. McKenzie, big fan of yours. See you making moves and whatnot, and just wanted to know, how has the transition been down in Carlsbad and being with Callaway? Talk to us a little bit about that opportunity off the course kind of work you're doing?
Sure. So it's been definitely a transition from being from Greengrass and outside and teaching and with the kids. But it's a whole nother side to golf that I don't think many people know. And I didn't know until I got there of how much of the game is decided at these companies and what is brought forth and how the industry runs is very heavily managed at these companies. And so it's been good to learn, and because I've always wanted to be an influencer, as far as not like a TikTok influencer, but I wanted to impart change on the game as much as I could. And I think being where I am, I'm going to be able to do more of that. And so it's been great to learn and share that knowledge as I go. So every rotation, every day, I learn something new that I hope to share with others that may, because when you think of jobs in the industry, you only think of teaching, coaching, head pro, but it's so much more than that. It's so much more than that, and it could be so much more fun. So it's been good. The transition's been good. It's been great. It's excited me more about the game. I think at one point I have fallen out of love with the game, just because it's been my life for my whole life, right? At a competitive level. And so I really went away from it because I'm like, well, what else is McKenzie? Is McKenzie more than golf, right? Am I more than hitting a ball? And I think being at Callaway, yes, they know I can play. I took second in the company league, but I get to be something else, right? I get to be the marketer. I get to be the finance person. I get to be something else, but still be in my element. So it's really rejuvenated my passion and love for the game.
And just to kind of piggyback on that, or not really piggyback, but is for both you and Ms. Jackson and Sydney, what is there anything in particular you think that can help change the landscape of golf with minority golfers? Like, you guys played at a young age, of course you had Tiger, we've had Black junior golf players come through the ranks, just same as with tennis and other sports. Like, what do you think is that the secret sauce besides a crazy parent, because we got to be crazy at some point to do this, but what can we do to kind of to flood that, or to change the culture from a little bit of basketball, football being cool to golf being, cool?
Yeah. You want to go, Mom?
Well, I think it's about exposure. We have a lot of organizations out there that kids need to know about. I mean, we have good feelings and bad feelings about the first tee, but it is available. It's out there for kids to participate in. When my kids were home, they were also involved with the local organization, Valley View, and Valley View had a junior golf component. So at some point, we just have to get the word out, and not really sure how you do that other than, I'm not sure how to do that. I don't have an answer.
I got you.
I would say exposure for sure. Like she said, golf wasn't even on the list.
Right.
It was a chance, by chance, that somebody talked to her, and now we're here today. So I think doing these podcasts, for one, and connecting each other is huge, because we didn't have that, right? My first tournament, I went in shoes and a t-shirt, and they were like, where are you going, right? So and a lot of things we learned along the way, and that's why we're so big on sharing. Like for NCAA, doing the eligibility center, I had a scholarship and then didn't know about the eligibility center and realized I didn't have enough art credits to receive my scholarship. So I had to take an art class my senior year. I have all AP classes, and now I'm in this beginner art class so I can get my scholarship. And so that's why we like to share those things, like go get that so you don't miss opportunities, and we just don't know. And I think you guys having this podcast and sharing and having the opportunity to connect with each other and share information is huge. It's huge. And it's just sharing, right?
I just wanted to
bringing more
share.
in.
I just wanted to share just a little story about her art class. We were walking in the tournament. We had no idea that the schools in California require art.
Wow.
I heard it. She went, took the art class, and I got to tell you, every fruit in her bowl looked like a golf ball.
Wow,
everything they had to paint or draw, it looked like a golf ball. We were like, oh my God, she got to get out of this class. But she finished the class.
It was horrible. I'm not an art person, so I was like, how do I get through this? But it was a learning lesson for us, because had she not heard that, I would have missed out and never known, and like they've relaxed the rules now, but I was volunteering and coaching with the first tee when I got in high school. Come to find out, that's a rule violation. We had to send an appeal to the NCAA for me to still accept my scholarship. So like it's about knowledge. It's 100% about knowledge and sharing that and bringing people to the course. Like if I see somebody, I bring them with me, because it's the exposure and them knowing the opportunities that golf can afford. I just don't think that our community knows what can come out of playing golf.
Yeah, I think you're nailing it right now, McKenzie, because I know with our first tee program here in Columbia, this is my first year that I've signed John up for it, and it's kind of redeveloping again, but I don't really see any type of marketing strategy. I don't see any type of push to get more kids involved. And the two things that I know, McKenzie, to get kids involved, you have to get them early. So in other words, as the first tee program, they got to figure out a way to possibly get into the schools. They got to figure out a way to get to the parents and the young kids, as they're going through elementary, and before it's I hate to say it in golf, you have to really get to the kids before it's too late, because once it's too late, all they're going to focus on is basketball, football, and possibly baseball, and that's it.
Right. And I will say that I have 2 points on that, but one, every first tee chapter is different.
Yeah.
Right. So my chapter in Tampa, we were in every school in Hillsborough County, kindergarten through 6th grade.
See? In
Memphis, I had just gotten there, so we had just started getting into the schools. Gotcha. So it's chapter by chapter of what they prioritize and not, but I 100% agree, getting them early, getting them exposed, right? Letting them know that this is an option. And then my other point was, I know people don't like if they're players, they don't want to be part of the first tee. And I say, join the first tee. It's not for them to learn, right? But by the time I got to the first tee, I was already taking lessons. I was already playing tournaments.
Yeah.
But they gave me free range balls, right? They took me to tournaments. They gave me, I went to Pebble Beach twice. So you got to use it to your advantage, right? I wasn't going there to get a chipping lesson. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like I was already have my coach. So I went there to be around other kids that, that golfed, but also to use the resources that they had to make it easier on my mom financially, get into some other tournaments. And because trust me, they have the resources, and if they can play a little, they're gonna be eligible for everything.
And that's why I signed up McKenzie Gunn, but not only for the resources, but I wanted to make sure I was doing it for a good cause. And the reason I signed John up is because I wanted him to possibly inspire other kids to continue the journey of golf and see how, if they stick with the program, they can play better later on down the road.
Right. And everybody says these tournaments are too small. No, it's a confidence builder. I played in the local, what was it, the North Las Vegas tournament at it's like the raggediest course you're gonna find. But I'm the 5-time champion at this course. You know what I mean? But it's a confidence builder. So when you go to the national events, you're like, I've won some. Like, I know what I'm doing, you know? And if you're so good, you should win every time at home, right? At every local event at home, you should win every single time. And if you're not doing that, then you need to get to work, right? And so she put us in every tournament. There was no tournament too big or too small. Like I said, if you guys saw this course, but I'm 5-time champion, I'm gonna hold that for the rest of my life.
At the raggedy course, right?
Yes, yes.
I have another question, McKenzie. And you can help us settle a dispute. We're in a group with some fellows, and all right. So AP classes helped you with your scholarship, or if you would have had the same GPA without AP classes, you would have got the same thing?
They didn't help my scholarship. I'll tell you that. If you can get a 3.0, that's where usually the cut line is for scholarship money.
Sure.
So if you can get anything above that, you're pretty much good. Now, the more you get, you'll be eligible for more. But I think the 3.0 threshold is where you're at. I did AP classes just because my mom's an educator and she wouldn't let me do anything else.
No, I got it.
But let
Can
me
I
share
chime
this.
in?
Wait, let me share this one, Sid. When McKenzie was recruited by the college, the one thing he said was, you have to have a 3.2 grade point average. I won't even look at you if you don't have that. And it did not have to be a 3.2 in AP classes or low-level classes. You just had to have a 3.2. And when I asked him why, he said, because we travel. Wow. And she has to be able to maintain her grades when maybe she's not in class for 2 or 3 days a week. She has to be able to maintain her grades. I wouldn't even consider her for a scholarship if she did not have a 3.2 at grade point average.
Yeah.
But I don't think the AP or the regular, I don't think it matters.
Okay. Can I add something to the conversation? I did not get a full golf scholarship. My scholarship was a full ride, but it wasn't a full golf scholarship. I think that distinction is important. Sure. So I was getting $10,000 for the Leadership Institute at my school. I qualified for a merit scholarship. And so all the scholarships that I put together comprised more than a full ride, but it was the academic side that allowed me to supplement what I didn't get from golf. Every single kid isn't going to get 100%. Most kids arguably are not, because a coach can spread their money further over more kids if they're giving partials. So when I was playing, it was 6 full golf scholarships for girls golf, 3.5 for men's. So unless you are Mariah Stackhouse or McKenzie Mack, you ain't getting a full golf scholarship. You're getting 75, you're getting 50, and most of the girls that were on my team were getting 75 and 50, and their parents were covering the difference. Mine were not, because I had good grades, I had good standardized test scores, and I qualified for merit and academic scholarships that supplemented the athletic scholarship.
Yeah, and
can I share one thing about that with the scholarship?
Sure.
Sydney, McKenzie went to Indiana State. The coach wanted to recruit Sydney also. Wow. So we went for a visit, and he said, listen, Sydney, I'm going to give you probably 40% golf money, 10% academic money, 50%. It added up to 100. So I'm thinking, yay. She stood up and said, Coach, I hope you have a good year. I won't be coming here next year. So I'm thinking, uh-oh. So when we walk outside, Sid, you just turned down a scholarship. Well, if he's not going to give me 100%, that means he has no faith in me, a golfer. I'll go elsewhere. Excuse me, is there another offer on the table somewhere? No, she had no other offer at that time.
What?
But he said, I'm going to make it 100. It's just not going to be all golf. And she was totally offended.
Wow.
Well, and I think that, so my son right now is in 7th grade. He has a 4.0 GPA. He has 1 or 2 AP classes, right? I think the issue was not the grade point average, but with the amount of extra homework you have with the AP in high school.
Mhm.
It takes away from your practice, from from some of the golf. So it's not the grade point average. We all have pretty smart kids. We're just wondering with the AP classes if it made a difference or not.
I think that's a decision between you and your child, what the goals are, I guess, because I don't know. My sister calls me a professional student, but because I tried to stay in school for as long as
I had to drag her out of college.
Oh, really?
Kicking and screaming. I think I'm going to do it. She finished her bachelor's. Ma, I think I'm going to get my master's. Okay, I'm okay with that. After I have the movers there Wednesday. You better be out of that apartment.
I have half of another master's, and she dragged me out I couldn't finish it. So so I think you just have to decide what it is. In our house, it was golf and school was non-negotiable. So you get the work done, then we'll go golf, so whatever.
But in response to your question, I don't think it matters. AP.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right.
Yeah, we had a big debate about that in our group. So y'all kind of helped us with that.
I will say this too, though. Like, I don't know if it matters from like a strictly golf perspective, but to her coach's point, there are so many student athletes who are not able to maintain the rigors of academic study at the collegiate level and be on the road 5 to 6 weeks out of the semester and have practice every single day and have weights maybe twice a day, have team meetings. Like, it's about preparing the child for the rigors of life. I mean, and that doesn't end after college, right? Like, I went to law school after that, and that was rigorous. Studying for the bar was rigorous. Being an attorney is rigorous. Like, you know what I mean? Like, life is about juggling. And I think that the earlier that they can learn how to do that, the better they will be in general. And so I think it's about what skills you want your child to have and, their ability to juggle, manage adversity, to be able to have a triage system and prioritize. And my mom still to this day be like, oh, you didn't do that? And I'm like, I worry about the fire that's hot today. That fire ain't hot today, right? And so having your child be able to develop that sense of discernment between what is the priority today, I think is a valuable skill that will serve them, because the reality is, I know no parent likes to hear this, everybody's not going to be the next Tiger Woods, and they still are going to need a solid set of skills to be able to be successful
in life.
But Sean, let me ask you this. So if your child takes these AP classes and some AP calculus as opposed to regular calculus, I mean, what's the difference for me? But something happens and he messes around and gets a C.
Yeah.
That can ruin his grades, and you got to think, was it worth it?
Yeah.
And Ms. Jackson, the calculus, I'm a math teacher, so I took all the way up to calculus 4, so I took a lot of math in my life. So the other thing you have to think about is the time that it's going to take you away from practicing the thing that you really want to, try to make happen.
Well, my son's going to take all the classes because there's going to be less mess in those classes. All right. So he will be in those classes.
That's true.
And what's the goal, right? What's the goal? I know girls that their goal was to get scholarship to go to a good school to have a good education. Golf was secondary. So, they used it as a tool. And if golf, is really kind of secondary, then you may need those AP classes for that top school, because sometimes the top schools don't have the strong golf teams, right?
Right. So
it's a matter of what do you want to come out with when you're done too, And I know I took AP classes, and I came in with credits to my university, so that allowed me to do, be a little bit flexible in my schedule too.
Right.
So I'll say it's not terrible if you can get through it, right? If you can get through it, it can be helpful. But I don't think, like, there's some I didn't take. I didn't take AP calculus because I took stats instead, because it was hard. I was like, I don't want to do this. But I ended up being a tutor in college for statistics.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was, I got experience. So everything happens, everything happens for a reason. But I didn't take calc for that reason. I didn't take chem AP because I was struggle busting in chemistry. So so you just gotta decide, what the goal is, and is this serving the goal?
There you go.
Hey, Ro.
Yeah,
Yes.
because
Go ahead. Go ahead,
yeah,
Gus.
so
Go ahead,
That was
Gus,
great.
and then we'll get Maurice. Go ahead, Gus, and then we'll get Maurice next.
no, part of the AP calculus, because both my boys and the golf, and they're all taking a lot of all AP classes. Reason for that was if they can manage the load in high school, in college it'll be much easier for them to manage, right? It's similar. Plus, as you mentioned, it's the fact that you also get credit there. Plus, if it depends on the school you're trying to get to, if you have AP and it's weighted average, it carry more weight as well, right? So that was part of the reason for me doing that with my kids.
Good, Gus. All right, go ahead, Mo.
Yeah, they both make good points, man, but it's a good priority to have because my daughter plays a golf team at Howard. So Sydney made some great points about the rigorous schedule, being on the road and all that. So I just think that having the AP background coming into college kind of helped her and prepared her to be able to handle the load.
Okay. Good assessment, Mo. Appreciate that. All right.
I'm just trying to figure out where my mom was okay with taking the less difficult classes, because you certainly let me get my fair share of C's and all the math classes and all the chemistry. I am terrible at math and science. And she said at the time that you need to learn how to fail. And you need to learn how to overcome adversity. And so you're going to take the class, and I don't care if you get a C. I just care that you do your best, and you need to learn how to struggle. And so I struggled, and I very much so, but it was a valuable lesson. It was a valuable lesson.
Sydney, did you get a C?
Listen,
No.
the only reason I didn't get a D is because
No.
they allowed you to give extra credit if you brought in paper towels. This was back, a while ago. But had they not allowed extra credit for staying after class and, giving extra credit, helping the teacher grade papers, it would have been real ugly. Okay.
We had a pantry. We had a pantry in our house just for extra credit toiletries, and the teacher said, "Bring paper towels. You know where to find it." So we did all of that. But it's just you do what you have to do, and you get there your best way you can. I guess I want to say there is a million ways to skin a cat.
Yes.
We did it this way, but your way may be just as effective. So there is not one right way. That's what I'm saying. You have to do what works for you and your family.
Okay. Will do. Appreciate that, Ms. Jackson. All right. We'll get one last question for McKenzie or Ms. Jackson or Sydney. One last question, y'all. All right. So we're all good. Everybody's good. Okay. All right. Well, listen, first thing I want to do is I want to thank you, Ms. Jackson. I want to thank you, McKenzie. I want to thank y'all. Thank you, Sydney, for blessing us, because I didn't realize we were going to get into the college and recruiting and the whole nine, but it's been talked about, and it's good that y'all have had that experience to be able to share with us. And so we appreciate y'all coming on the podcast. If there's anything we can do at the Black Junior Golf level, or the Black Golf Alliance, if there's anything we can do to help in any aspect, just please let us know. And before we go, also let everybody know about your blog, Ms. Jackson, and how can people find you on social media?
My book. I wrote a book. It's called Kid Contrast, Parenting Tips. Before you run out and buy it, because I see all of you clicking Amazon right now, let me just tell you, it's just parenting tips. It's not necessarily specific to golf. So I want you to know that. But I did write a book. You can reach me. I'm on social media. I'm an influencer. So you can reach me on any of the social sites under Jean Jackson, and I'll be happy to talk with you, because I do want to share a few more things that you have to have us back, Ro, because I need to talk about coaching that I didn't get to and things like that that are so important, and about
Exactly.
the things I didn't know about golf that I know now that I need to share and pass that information on. So call me again. Call me.
You know I will. You know I will. Thank you, Miss Jackson. Thank you, McKenzie. All right. And thank you, Sydney. Appreciate you.
Thank you all.